Hello again everyone and welcome to another episode of our tutorial series, The Intermediate Guide. And this is episode number 5, I think. I don't know the numbers of the episode. I will put the number when it comes to the episode. And we are going to continue using our function here. In the last episode we learned how to use this blending option, right? And explained how to use the bevel and emboss in this stroke one here. In this episode we are going to continue using the other tools. So now that we started using our function here, as you can see the text one here have this fx here. It means that this one have some layer style applied to it. And if we want, we can click this one here and open the blending option again, and we will have our option that we already did, and we can hide them and show them. And of course there is another way, and without clicking in this one here, once we apply a layer style in the first time, we will have this fx here. And if we click and if we click in this arrow here, as you can see, if I click it, it will show you this effect here. And if we click effect, double click it, it will show you this layer style again, and we can continue with our work here. In this episode we are going to continue explaining this bevel and emboss. There is something we didn't explain in the last episode. We are going to explain them right now. We have in the bevel and emboss, you will notice we have this contour and this texture. If we click this contour here, it will show you this function here, and we can switch it however we want, and the range, etc. And it will do nothing because we didn't do some crazy stuff here. It will not show up, but we will show them in other episode where they will have really some effects, some cool effects. As you can see here, this is our text here. We have this contour. It changed just slightly, but it's not that big of a changement. And here we have this texture, and this one basically will add a texture to our text. As you can see in our text here, let me zoom in a little bit. If I can switch back to my document here, as you can see, we have this text here. We have this, this texture in our let me switch it to, you can see, as you can see it clearly right now, right? I can switch by this, like this, like this, like this, like this, anything. This is a texture that you will, and you can add to your text if you want. If you don't want it, of course you can go ahead and just deselect it like this, or uncheck this box, or check the box if you want it. In this episode we are going to continue explaining the stuff, and I want to talk about this inner shadow here. Let me click this inner shadow, and you will notice automatically it changes the atmosphere of our text. If I uncheck this box here, as you can see right now we have an inner shadow, and as it say, it's an inner shadow. It's a shadow inside of our text here. Let me show you an example. I will switch this to normal and make it to black so you can feel it. And if we pop up the opacity to 100%, you will see it clearly right now. And this is the angle, of course, from where this inner shadow will be coming. And this is the distance, of course, how far it is from our picture. This is the stroke, if it's really bigger or smaller. And this is the size, of course. If we make the size bigger, it will cover all the area, and if we make the size smaller, as you can see, it's smaller like this. And this is of course the distance of our inner shadow to our text here. As you can see, if I move this, it's having a distance. If I make it like this, it's back to its place. And this is basically the size of our layer here. Of course, this is the opacity. We can make it however we want. It's basically up to you to use it however you want. But what I want to show you in this inner shadow, it's this option here. Let me just make this size bigger like this. Look closely. I will move my cursor outside my layer style, and I will start clicking on my document here. Let me make this size smaller like this. Let me move the distance a little bit, and as you can see, and this is basically how you can use this inner shadow. I will deselect this inner shadow for now because I don't want any inner shadow in my text. I will go to this inner glow right now. If you click this inner glow, it will give you this inner glow options here. For now, it's a blend mode, it's on screen, the opacity 100%, the nose 0%, etc. Let me show you an example on how to use them. Before I explain, you already have to notice that every layer style have those blend mode, right? There is always the blend mode. As we have them for our layers, we have always this blend mode or blending option, right? This is really amazing, guys, because it can change how your documents or how your design feel really quickly, from let's say from a soft to hard, from sad to happy. You are the one who will understand your design and you will understand how to use those better. I'm just giving examples here. If I switch back to this to normal, as you can see, it's this green like this, but if we make it into screen, it will give us this feeling right here. And of course we can make the opacity like this, however you want. We can have just a color, or we can have a gradient color here, and we can switch to any gradient that you want. Of course we have the opacity, we have the nose here. This is how nosy this will be. As you can see, it's getting nosy here. You can change the blend mode, and here we have the element. The element is really just how the elements will be used in your inner glow. If we make this into center, it will be going from the center of our text here. From the edge, it will be coming from the edge here. We can make this soft or precise. It doesn't make this much changing. We have, this is the stroke, this is the size, of course, how big is this going to be. This is the stroke, of course. This is the quality. As we've seen before, we can make any function we want, and this is how range it will be covering this text here, like this, something like this. And this is the jitter. It will be, of course, you can make it however you want and however you like. Now I will go to this satin one here, and this one, of course, it's a satin. Of course we can make it like normal, and it will be just like this black here. It's already black. We can make it into screen. It will give us this screen show here. You can make the opacity up or down. You can switch the angle, of course. You can make the distance like this, the size, however you like, guys. You get it. You can use them however you want. Now I want to show you something interesting in this episode, and it's this color and gradient overlay. For now, let me just uncheck all of the stuff we did before, and I will select this color overlay. And as you can see, automatically if you select it, it will pick a color, because this is what I used before, and you can make any color. This one here, it doesn't matter what color you picked for your text before, because once you do this color overlay or this gradient overlay, it will overlay the color you already have. And of course you can switch this blend mode from normal. If you keep it normal, it will affect your color, it will overlay your color basically. But if we change this from normal, let's say to darken, it will try to darken our color we had before. This is color burn, this is like this, it will make it like this. We already know how we use those stuff, so you can go ahead and play with them however you want. And this gradient overlay, it will of course be a gradient, right? And we can pick any gradient we want and make it in our color, and it will be like this. Let's make this reverse, it will be like this. Let's check this or uncheck it. Of course we can make this into any blend mode you want, anything that you like. You can change the angle on how this will affect your design. You can make it scalable or not, however you want, guys. It's up to you. And if you move your your cursor outside this layer style, you will notice I can move this however I want, and it will be really cool like this. This is basically how we can use this color and gradient overlay. And we have, of course, a pattern overlay. We've seen this before, right? You can use a pattern to your text like this, and we can have an outer glow to your text here. As you can see, we have this green, this red from the outside of our text. It's basically the opposite of the inner glow, and this is an outer glow. And last, we have this drop shadow. This is really just a drop shadow. If, as you can see, I can move it like this. You can make the distance however you want. You can make this spread or not. You can make this size bigger or smaller like this. And you can change, of course, the blending mode and the color and the opacity and this function. We've seen all of those already for now. And one more thing we need to talk about is the order of those blending options. The order really matters. So if I select this one here, this is the drop shadow, right? If you make another drop shadow, we will have two drop shadow. Let me make this into a green one like this, a red one, sorry. And as you can see, we have those arrows here. This is up and down. So if I click this down, I will make this shadow on top of this one. As you can see, this is the black one. If I click like this, now we have the red one from the top and the black one is in the background. We can do this to those stuff here however we want and however we like, and we can play with them however you want. And of course, a color overlay will be on top of your gradient overlay, who will be on top of your pattern overlay. So make sure you choose precisely what you want to use in your document. And basically this is how we can use this layer style or this blending option. This is it for this episode, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and in the next episode we are going to see how we can combine those stuff and create something cool. So I hope you're excited to the next episode. Subscribe if you didn't, and like what we do, and see you guys in the next episode. Love you so much.